Hello friends, we start with our next topic. Till now we have completed the basics of networks, and after that we have completed our KCL and KVL analysis with various concepts which is applicable in KCL and KVL analysis, and then we have go through the problem solving session. Still you have not subscribed and share my channel, please do it, because once you subscribe it will be more helpful for you to go through my all video in a sequential manner, and one can easily able to understand this subject. Okay, so please subscribe it and share it with your all friends who are preparing for examination, as well as for those students who are now appearing in their engineering stream itself. Okay, so we start with our next topic known as theorems. Okay, the description of my link of previous video is already mentioned in my description box. Please go through it and follow my all videos in a sequential manner. Okay, so our next topic is theorem. As I have mentioned in my first lecture that one by one we are going to cover all the topics of networks. So in that series our next topic is theorems. So under theorem we are going to focus on various theorems. We will see what are those. So under this topic now we are going to see all these theorems one by one, very important. So first we start with our Thevenin's theorem, then we go through Norton's theorem, then we'll cover maximum power transfer theorem, then it is basically maximum power transfer. Yes, this is maximum power transfer theorem. Then we'll talk about superposition theorem, then Millman's, then Teligence, and then reciprocity theorem. Now we'll see around 7 theorems, total of 7 theorems we are going to see here in our the session under theorems. Okay, now you ask about, sir, what are the important theorems which we have to mainly focus on, and what are the problems which used to regularly come in examination from this topic. So just keep in mind this theorem, this theorem, this theorem, and this theorem is very important theorems. Okay, you will find the questions from Thevenin's, Norton's, maximum power transfer, and reciprocity. Okay, and there are variety of questions which are coming under this category, and you will find in GATE, ES, any examination at least 3 to 4 marks of question used to come in this under this topic. So 4 marks is very important. Okay, and not only 4 marks, sometimes you will find the application of this theorem is also applicable in your other electronic as well as electrical subjects. So if you able to understand this theorem, one can easily apply the concept and find the answers. Okay, now if I talk about this theorem, this is also one of the very important theorem, that is known as maximum power transfer. And this theorem we will see in our AC analysis also, because you will see there are certain questions used to come for AC analysis and which cover the concepts of maximum power transfer there also. So we will see its AC part there itself. However, for the time being we are only considering the DC circuits. Okay, we are only considering the DC circuits. Clear? So you know the difference between DC and AC. Okay, which is very basic, so I am not going to explain the concept of DC and AC here, but yes, in AC we will see what is AC circuits, what is alternating current. Okay, this DC stands for direct current, AC stands for alternating current, which change with the frequency. Okay, so for the time being whatever the theorem we are discussing is coming under DC, and the I have already mentioned you the important theorems in which you will find lot of questions in your competitive examination. If you talk about superposition theorem, you will see there are certain questions sometimes used to come in engineering services in your conventional pattern. Okay, So we will see the concept of superposition also. However, we are not going to solve a lot of problems under this, because it is not that much, the problem are not coming that much in your competitive examination. So mainly we'll focus on Thevenin's Norton's maximum power transfer, and we'll see few problems of reciprocity theorem also. Okay, so we start with the concept of Thevenin's theorem. So friends, we start with Thevenin's theorem. As per our discussion, we start with our Thevenin's theorem, that is, which is our first theorem. Okay. So first, the very basic question which comes to your mind, why we are studying about the theorems. As we have seen, there are a lot many theorems in networks. So the very basic question is why we go through the theorems. So please try to understand that if there exists a complex network, so if you have to solve this complex network, say it is connected with some load. So solving this complex network and then finding the condition of load, it means finding out the current, voltage, power, and whatever the parameters which is required. So for solving out this entire network, first we have to solve this complex network. And solving a complex network is again a very cumbersome job when you are going to solve a network which consists of a big complex network having certain load. So theorems are introduced just to solve the complex networks. I'll write here a statement known as theorems are introduced to solve complex network. So theorems are specifically introduced in networks just to solve the complex network, and once this complex network is solved, you can easily able to find the parameters across the load as per the requirement. Okay, so based on the different techniques, what are the different techniques which is applicable to solve the complex networks, theorems are designated. So there are different techniques, so that's why there are different theorems. So first we will talk about the Thevenin's theorem. Okay, so we start with our Thevenin's theorem. So these are the three important points: linearity, active source, and bilateral. Here I will write it as linear. So when this type of combination exists in a network, it means network consists of linear elements, network consists of active source, and network consists of bilateral elements. So under such condition, Thevenin's theorem is applicable to solve that particular network. It means you can say there is a network, this is a complex network, this is your complex network. Okay, so this complex network is specifically carrying these three properties, that is, it consists of some linear elements, it consists of some active source, it consists of some bilateral elements. So these three conditions must be applied while we are talking about the Thevenin's theorem. So if these three conditions is applicable, then only we'll talk about the applicability of Thevenin's theorem. So now what Thevenin's theorem state that, okay, so Thevenin's theorem state that if there is a network, which is linear, active, and bilateral in nature, please again listen it properly. If there is a network, again this is a complex network, but it follow linear concept, it consists of active source, and there are certain bilateral elements. So if these three condition is applicable in such type of network having terminal A and B, this particular network can be replaced by its equivalent in this fashion, having some voltage source and having some resistance, and again this is your terminal AB. Okay, once again I will explain you. Thevenin's theorem states that a network consists of linear elements consisting of active source, consisting of bilateral elements having two terminal A and B. So this network can be replaced by this equivalent network having a voltage source known as VTH and a resistance having RTH, and the terminal remains as it is in this fashion. So finally I can say this network is replaced by this network. Now what is the property of this VTH and RTH? This RTH is known as Thevenin's resistance. This RTH is known as Thevenin's resistance, and this VTH is known as Thevenin's voltage. Very important thing, this VTH is known as Thevenin's voltage. So once again I will explain this. Any network which consists of linear elements, active source, bilateral elements, this particular network can be converted into this type of network having some resistance RTH, having some voltage VTH. As you are looking, this resistance is in series with this voltage source VTH. So what is RTH? RTH is known as Thevenin's resistance, and what is VTH? VTH is known as Thevenin's voltage. And now the important thing is, what is the property of Thevenin's resistance RTH and what is the property of Thevenin's resistance VTH? That we will see. So this RTH is known as Thevenin's resistance, as I said earlier, Thevenin's resistance. This resistance, we will find this resistance across terminal, it means the terminal across which we have to find the Thevenin's resistance. But how we find this Thevenin resistance? How we find? The question is how we find RTH. This is your question. Once you understand, yes, this is a Thevenin resistance which is across a terminal. Say for the time being that terminal is AB, as I already mentioned in our network. So okay, that is a Thevenin resistance RTH. But now the question comes, how we find RTH? So whenever you have to find RTH, so once again I will draw this network. As I earlier said, it is a complex network. Okay, this is a complex network, and here is your terminal AB. And if you have to find RTH here, you have to find RTH here. So how we find RTH? So very important thing, RTH, we will find RTH with the help of, first thing, because there exists two type of source. First is independent source and another one is dependent source. I am talking about these 2 points. Okay, how we find RTH? When we are going to find RTH, first of all we have to consider these two conditions, that is independent source and dependent source. So just keep in mind, whenever we have to find the value of RTH, all independent source goes off and dependent source remains in network. Very important thing. Okay, all independent source goes off and dependent source remains in network. So when you are going to find RTH across the terminal A, B, this you have to keep in your mind. Whatever the independent source given, either it is a current source or it is a voltage source, that source goes off. Off, it means you have to remove that source. Okay. Similarly, when you are talking about the dependent source remains in the network. It means whatever the dependent source present, either it is a current control voltage source or it is a voltage control source. So that both type of, we have studied around 4 type of dependent source in my previous video, you have already seen. So all dependent source remains in network as it is. Why? Because dependent source depend upon the condition of the network. Either it depends upon the independent source or it depends upon the situation of the network, the situation of the current and voltage in the network. So that's why dependent source remains as it is, but the independent source goes off. Very important thing. Now your question comes, sir, how that independent source goes off? How will say that independent source goes off? So that we'll try to understand. Okay. Here I will explain you with this network. Please see this. Independent source goes off means, as I said earlier, there are 2 type of sources. First is voltage source and another one is current source. Okay, this is your voltage source and this is your current source. So as per the definition, when you are going to find RTH, all the independent source goes off. It means if goes off means we have to remove those sources. So when it is a voltage source, the voltage source get short circuit. Very important, short circuit, just keep in your mind. And when you are talking about the current source gets open circuit, it is known as open circuit. Very important thing. Okay, now question comes to your mind, why it is short circuit and why it is open circuit? Why not it is open circuit and why not it is short circuit? Okay, definitely a question will come to your mind. We will see that also, but for the time being, just keep in your mind, whenever there exists a voltage source, this is your voltage source, it gets short circuited, and whenever there exists a current source, it get open circuited. Now how, that we will see. A very simple definition of Ohm's law, we all know V is equal to IR. Okay, so in the case when I'm talking about the voltage source, means when I'm talking about this V, so how this V goes 0? It is only possible when R goes 0. Yes, so V will become 0. The meaning of R goes 0, what does it mean? The meaning of R goes 0, if you see from this equation, you will find I is V by R, or you can say V by 0, so that comes to be infinite. It means the value of current is infinite. Okay, means some current is flowing. Okay, for the time being we will consider that some current is infinite. So current is flowing but the voltage goes 0. So what is this condition? This condition is known as short circuited. When there is an infinite current will flow in the branch. It means if this is your voltage source, say it is V, and if I have to remove, basically it is removed in this fashion, and it is known as short circuited. This voltage source get short circuited. So under this condition, whatever the current flow is, we say it as infinite. Current is flowing. So I think you all understand what is the meaning of short circuited and why voltage source goes short circuited, because voltage needs to be 0 and it is only possible when resistance goes 0. resistance goes 0, it means basically it reflects that the value of ideal current is infinite. Okay, so this we used this concept we used to solve the problems. Similarly, we'll talk about current source also. As I said, again we consider Ohm's law, that is V is equal to IR. So here if I see I, that is V by R. I want these factors to be 0 in case when we are saying that we are removing the current. It means basically removing the current means current goes 0. So how current goes 0? It is only possible when R goes infinite, because 1 upon infinite is 0. Okay, so once R goes infinite, you can say that I goes 0. And what is this condition? It means if you see this is a current source, and if R goes infinite, it means there does not exist any path. It means you can say no current will enter in this path. So if you draw its equivalent, so this is its equivalent and it goes open circuited, OC. Okay, so that's why the current source get open circuited. Why? Because of the resistance goes infinite. And why resistance goes infinite? Because we need IS 0, because we are basically removing. So when you remove a current source, basically it is open circuit in nature. When you remove a voltage source, it is basically short circuit in nature. This is a very important concept while finding out RTH. Okay, now we come to VTH. So when we talk about VTH, again we will consider this is your complex network. This is your complex network having terminal AB. So we have discussed about RTH. Now when we find about VTH, what we will do? We will find VTH at these two terminal AB, and this VTH is known as open circuit voltage. Open circuit voltage. You also say this VTH is basically VOC. Open circuit voltage, it means you make these two terminal as open and basically find the voltage VTH across these two terminal. And once these two terminal is open, that's why we call it as open circuit voltage, and it is represented by VTH. So the property of VTH is it is basically VOC. So RTH we understand, VTH we understand, and with the help of this one can able to find the equivalent of a complex network, which I have already given you. This is your VTH, which we call it as VOC, and this is your RTH, your Thevenin resistance, which is basically in series with the voltage source. And again this is your terminal AB, and it will happen sometime that here a load is connected and you have to find the further property of load in terms of current, voltage, power, whatever it is. So you have solved this complex network into this form with RTH as your Thevenin's resistance and VTH as your Thevenin's voltage, which is open circuit in nature. Okay, so with the help of this one can easily find the voltages and currents, and you'll see lot many questions used to come in case of Thevenin's theorem to find the value of VTH and RTH. So this is all about the Thevenin's theorem. We'll see the next, that is Norton's theorem. Now we'll talk about the Norton's theorem. In Thevenin's theorem, the important condition which I have already mentioned is linear elements, then active source, and then bilateral. The same is applicable in Norton's theorems also. Okay, so any network, any complex network, again we come to a network that is known as complex in nature. we call it as complex network. Say this network is AB, having terminal AB. So Norton's theorem states that any complex network which consists of linear elements, active source, bilateral elements can be replaced by its equivalent. So what is its equivalent? See, this is its equivalent. This is its equivalent. This current is known as IN. This resistance is known as RN. So what Norton's theorem states that any complex network which consists of linear, active and bilateral elements having terminal AB can be replaced by an equivalent network having a current source known as IN and a resistance RN which is in parallel with this current source, and again this is your terminal AB. Okay, so this IN is known as Norton's current. This IN is known as Norton's current, and this RN is known as Norton's resistance. Okay, so this is all about IN and RN. Now we will see how we find IN and RN in a network. So this basically you understand. First we have seen that Thevenin's theorem, second we have seen that Norton's theorem. The condition remain as it is. However, in Norton's theorem the complex network is converted into its equivalent form in which IN is your current source known as Norton current and a resistance RN which is known as Norton resistance is in parallel with the current source having terminal AB. These are the terminal. Okay. Now we will see how we find IN and RN. As I told you earlier about the Thevenin's resistance, similarly we will talk about RN, that is Norton's resistance. So this Norton resistance RN is same as Thevenin's resistance RTH. Very important thing, just keep in mind. This Norton resistance RN is same as this Thevenin's resistance RTH. Okay, it means whatever the concept we have applied for finding out the value of RTH, the same concept is applicable in case of RN also. That is, all the independent source goes off and the dependent source remains as it is while solving the Norton resistance. Okay, the concept remains same. So I am not writing the entire thing here. Just try to understand that whatever the method is applicable for finding out the Thevenin's theorem, same is applicable in case of finding out the Norton resistance. Now we talk about Norton's current. When you talk about the Norton's current, that is IN, that is your Norton's current. So how we find IN? Now it is important because there we have find the Thevenin's voltage VTH, which we call it as VOC, that is open circuit voltage. Here we will see again this is your complex network, okay, having two terminals which I said earlier as AB. So in case of Norton's theorem as stated that we have to find the Norton current. So this Norton current is basically what? This Norton current IN is basically ISC, which we call it as short circuit current. So this Norton current is also known as short circuit current. What it is? Short circuit current. Okay, so by short circuiting these two terminals through a branch, so this is a short circuit terminal. So whatever the current is flowing here, we call it as Norton current, and the nature is what? It is short circuit in nature. So once you find the value of IN, once you find the value of RN, one can able to draw its equivalent. Once again I will draw here, very important. This is your terminal AB, so this is your RN and this is your IN, basically a short circuit current. Okay, so this is its equivalent form. So actually Thevenin's and Norton's, first Thevenin's was identified and after that Norton's was identified. However, later it was found that Thevenin's and Norton's theorem are dual of each other. There is a word which comes as dual, and there is a property known as duality. Okay, so this we will see in our network topology subject, network topology topic. What is duality? For the time being, you just remember, just keep in your mind, Norton's and Thevenin's are dual to each other. Okay, so this is all about Norton's theorem. Now before going for our next theorem, we go through the problem solving session for this Thevenin's and Norton's. Here what I will do, we will not see all the theorems one by one. We will see these two theorems and then we'll go through the problem solving session, and then we move on to the next theorem, and accordingly we may proceed for all the theorems coming under this topic. Okay, so we start with the problem solvings of Thevenin's and Norton's theorem, and how questions are asked in GATE, EAC, PSUs and all other technical examinations. Okay, now friends, this is our first problem. Now you see, this is our first problem. In this problem you have to find the value of VTH and RTH using Thevenin's theorem across the terminal AB. These are the two terminal AB, and across this terminal you have to find the value of VTH and RTH. So we'll try to understand how we solve this problem. Now you see, in this problem you'll see this is an independent source, voltage source of 18 volt and an independent current source of 3 ampere, and you have one dependent source of dependent current source of I, and whose dependency is somewhere in this 2 ohm resistance. Okay, so now we have to solve this by using Thevenin's theorem concept. So first of all, what we'll do, we'll find the value of RTH, because RTH is very important to understand. So we start with finding out the value of RTH. Okay, now as I said you that whatever the independent source goes off, so voltage source gets short circuited and current source get open circuited, and dependent source remains as it is. Okay, so if this is a condition for finding out RTH, so can we redraw this network? Yes, see, I'll redraw this network. This voltage source gets short circuited, so this is the condition. Here is your voltage source which was short circuited, and this is your resistance. Okay, again this is your resistance, which is 2 ohm. It is also 2 ohm. Current flowing here is I. This is your dependent source. As I said, dependent source remains as it is depending upon the situation in the network, and this current source get open circuited, and this is your terminal AB. And now you have to find the Thevenin equivalent across the terminal AB. So Thevenin equivalent, how we will find? What we will do, just to solve this network, I say let V theta is the voltage applied and I theta is the current is coming from voltage source V theta as per the network situation. So just keep in mind, this is a method of finding out RTH. There are various other type of method also exist for finding out RTH, but I have just taken this method to easily understand how we find the value of RTH. So you can say that the value of RTH is what? Basically V theta upon I theta. If you find the ratio of V theta and I theta, one can easily able to understand what is RTH at these terminal. Yes, yes, V theta upon I theta if you find, so this is an Thevenin's, or you can say it is an equivalent resistance at these two terminal AB, and that's why we call it as RTH. So basically in a network you have to find the ratio of V theta and I theta in this network. Okay, so if you find the value of V theta and I theta, one can easily able to solve this problem. Now how we find it, very important. Please see this. This is an open circuit, so I am removing this terminal. Okay, there is no significance of this two terminal because it is an open circuit. Now this is open circuit, this is short circuit. Now see the very important concept. This current I is coming, this is your I theta. So what is the current here? It is I plus I theta. This is your current I. So what is the current here? It is I, that becomes 2I plus of I theta. Okay, this become 2I plus of I theta, the current which is flowing here. Now when you come here, this is your I theta. So what is the current here? It is 2I. When 2I comes here, I is in direction and another I is in direction. So this is your entire current division. Please keep in mind, before going for solving the network, if your current division is absolutely correct, you can easily find the value of voltage, resistance, whatever the parameters you have to find in a network. But just keep in your mind, this is a very good method. Why? Because before solving the network itself, you are able to prove that yes, whatever the current I have taken in the network is absolutely correct. Okay, so in this way you have to solve all type of networks. So once you know the current division, can you able to apply a law of KVL here? Yes, yes, you can easily able to apply. So please see, if I apply here, so I can say minus 2 plus V theta is equal to 2 into I plus of I theta. This is your first equation. In this manner, since there exists a single voltage source V theta, that should be equal to 2 into I plus of, sorry, it is 2I plus of I theta, because what is the current here in 2 ohm resistance? It is 2I plus theta. Please see, V theta is equal to 2 into 2I plus theta, because the current here in this branch is 2I plus theta. So you can say V theta is equal to 4 of I plus of 2I theta. This is your equation first once again. Okay, so as I said, for finding out the value of RTH, you have to basically find the interrelation between V theta and I theta. Since here one more term is coming I, you have to replace this term. So now you see, should I apply one KVL here? This was your first, this was your second. Yes, yes, I can apply here. Now you see, if I apply here, is there any voltage source exist? No. So it should be 0 is equal to, what is the current in 2 ohm resistance? It is 2 into I, okay, plus of 2 into, what is the current in this resistance? It is 2I plus of I theta. This is your equation second. Okay, so one can easily able to find how much it is. It is 246I plus of 2I theta, that is 0. Again, it is your second equation. This is your second equation. So can you find the relation between I and I theta from this equation? Yes, please see, the value of I, you can say it is minus of 1 by 3 I theta. Can you say this? Just by transferring it, the value of I comes to be what? It is minus of 1 by 3 I theta. Now if I put this value, in this equation, this value in this equation. So you can easily able to find the value of RTH. Now you see here, the value of RTH comes to be what? It is V theta is equal to 4 of, the value of I is what? Minus of I theta upon 3, okay, and plus of 2 I theta. So that comes to be minus of 4 I theta plus of 6 I theta upon 3. So that comes to be 2 I theta upon 3. It is your V theta. So from here you can say V theta upon I theta is equal to 2 by 3 ohms. 2 by 3 ohms. And basically this is your Thevenin's resistance. This is your Thevenin's resistance RTH, that is 2 by 3 ohm. Very important. So with this we have solved this problem, and one can find the value of RTH. How we find the value of RTH? Very important techniques to solve the network in a very easiest way. Okay, and please keep in mind this current division is one of the best technique to solve the network. Why? Because before getting the answer itself, one can able to easily speculate, yes, whatever the concept you have applied is already correct. So definitely you will get a absolute answer. So this is your Thevenin's resistance, which we have find as 2 by 3 ohm. Now we find finally the value of VTH, that is your open circuit voltage. Okay, so we'll see how we find the value of VTH. Okay, so now we find our open circuit voltage, that is VOC. Okay, now we will find our open circuit voltage VOC. Now we'll see how we find VOC. We have find the value of RTH. Now we find the value of open circuit voltage. Now please see here, as I said, this VTH is open circuit voltage. Open circuit voltage. So basically you have to find VTH across these two terminals. So for the timing I remove this and I say the voltage across this is VTH, and basically it is VOC, which is open in nature. So once it is open in nature, please see the very important thing, no current will enter here. No current will enter here. Whatever the current here is 0, no current will enter here. Very important thing. So when no current is there, you can directly apply to find the value of VOC in this manner. Why? Because it is a super mesh. You cannot find the voltage across this. No voltage is given. So you can directly find the VOC in this manner. Okay. So now how you find VOC? So now you see, this is your 18 volt, this is your 3 ampere, this is I. Whatever the source will remain as it is. Now you see this I is coming, okay, this 3 ampere is coming. So what is the current here? Please see, very important thing. What is the current here? This current is I plus 3 ampere. Again we are going through a current division rule. Okay, so this is your I plus 3 ampere. Now this I is coming here and this I is coming here. So what is the current here? What is the current here? It is I plus 3 plus of I. So that comes to be 2I plus 3 ampere. Okay. So 2I plus 3 ampere is the current which is flowing in this resistance. So now you know the current, one can easily able to find the value of VOC. Now I am applying, first of all I am applying this super mesh. So minus to plus VOC is equal to what? The current flowing in 2 ohm resistance. And what is the current flowing in 2 ohm resistance? It is 2I plus of 3 ampere. So it comes to be 4I plus of 6. This is your equation first. Now you have to find VOC with the help of finding out the value of I. Now how we will find the value of I? Should I apply this KVL? Yes, yes. So minus to plus I am applying here, minus to plus 18 is equal to the current in this resistance, that is 2. What is the current? Is I, plus, now this is your next resistance, 2 into what is the current here? It is 2I plus of 3. So that comes to be 2I plus of 4I plus of 6. This is your 18, or you can say it is 12 is equal to 12 is equal to how much it is? 6 of I. So I is equal to 2 ampere. This is the value of I, that is I is equal to 2 ampere. And once you know the value of I, you put this value here. So VOC comes to be 4I plus of 6. So that comes to be 4 into 2 plus of 6. So it comes to be how much? 14 volt. Okay. This is the value of VOC. Okay.